repeater.
FFC, go ahead.
Drone, just testing and just checking my new handy copy, making sure it works. Thanks so much.
All right, sounds good. W0FFC, this is K1DBC. Yeah, coming in loud and clear, not a problem. Should be just good for the net. So talk to you here in just a few minutes. Good evening here. Just watch a couple of videos. And, yeah, check some things out here.
Hi, I'm Sterling in Zero SSC, and I'm one of the co-founders of Youth on the Air in Region 2 of the International Amateur Radio Union, IRAU, that's the Americas. And I'm here with Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. He's the camp director. So, as I said, we run a camp, a yearly camp for young people in ham radio. Our ages go from 15 to about 26 or 27 or something like that, 26. And it's currently happening this year once again in Cincinnati at the Voice of America Museum. It's a really great venue. 30 campers are applying right now. The applications are open at youthontheair.org to come up to the camp and to have other youth there as well to make friends and learn a lot about ham radio and have everyone train each other and teach each other and raise each other up, if you will, on like all aspects of amateur radio, as well as like have fun and go to like amusement parks. And we're going to main event. Last year we did Dave and Buster's, so it's not all ham radio, but believe it or not, we took everyone took their HTs to Kings Island Amusement Park, and we had a FM sprint, like a VHF sprint. That was a hoot. It was a lot of fun. So the organization is pretty new. That was our last year was our first camp, and it was super successful in between the waves of COVID. So now we're having another lull, hopefully, and we're going to have we're still a green light for the camp this year. Youth on the Air in general also supports and advocates for youth in ham radio. We have a lot of resources on our webpage for, you know, answering the question, how do I get my 8-year-old into ham radio? Or as a young person, where can I find people my age? And that's the question that we can really answer, is that, you know, with the answer that there is youth in ham radio, believe it or not. It's if you pan around, you'll see the ages are pretty old in amateur radio, and we've known that for a long time. But if we don't kind of come together and put together some things like camps and resources for young people, and even leverage the STEM aspect of amateur radio in order to like gain an edge in education for our youth, then ham radio might be in some dire straits. But you know, we can do all of us can do a part to encourage our grandsons and granddaughters and sons and daughters and friends of friends to say, hey, you know about this ham radio thing, and make it so that it's not this weird thing your uncle does in the basement. It's like this thing that people do, and it's a lot of fun. And you know, normal people do it, crazy people do it. I'm one of those crazy people, and it's actually gotten me a career in electrical engineering. So, you know, kind of testament to what it can bring you. But it's also just a lot of fun. I mean, you can talk to an astronaut. Who doesn't want to do that? So yeah, again, check out youthontheair.org. That's our website. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the other things. And we'll keep you posted there for all of our camp updates and application times and all that and whatnot, and resources and the like. So, 73.
All right, thanks for watching here. I'll have another video coming up just after the start of the, or just the initial part of the script here. So thanks for everyone for watching there. Yeah, Youth on the Air, Sterling Mann, and Zero SSC. Pretty cool organization there, and definitely check that out. So yeah, really cool stuff here. Let's see. This is Daron, K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes. Second video here, another just a quick video. Lemore Freed, founder and CEO of Adafruit Industries. So another on the topic kind of video here.
Engineering is just saying, I've got a problem, and I've got all these techniques and tools in my head. We're going to solve this problem together. Engineering is making solutions for people. I grew up in Brookline, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Boston. When I was a young girl, actually one of my favorite memories is I would watch Mr. Wizard's World with my dad. But it was awesome. There was, building your own record player.
There's the needle in the amplifier.
Oh, wow. At the time, it was totally okay to set up explosives as long as you called the fire department ahead of time. Whoa! I just loved being creative, and I loved science. I loved building things, like taking things apart, understanding how they worked. I was actually having just a lot of fun because I'd been gaining all these skills in building and microcontrollers and LEDs and art and technology. And I'd post these projects online and send them to people and say, hey, here's a cool project I built. In Boston, Cambridge, and MIT, there is a strong open source culture. I was just soaking in this idea of, if you are creating new technology, new capabilities, you have to give it away. Otherwise, you're kind of being selfish. So I took that approach, which is called open source software, and applied it to the projects I was building to make open source hardware. I'd post up these projects, and I'd get a lot of emails that said, hey, this project is really cool. I want to learn how to build this too, but I have to buy all these parts. Can you just sell me a kit? Something that's an all-in-one box, and when I open it, all the parts are in it, and then I'll be able to follow along. Back and forth. I was taught engineering, but you don't really know how to run a business, how to manage people, how to create a community. I think having started it when I was 25, I just had to prove everyone wrong, and I was just like, I know I can do better than everyone, and I'll show you. It's me, Lady Ada, and this is our Internet of Things box. Electronics engineering for me is my art form. What I'm trying to do is inspire people to become curious and practice using technology, learn electronics, so that I can build that thing that is in my heart and make it real. At Adafruit, we share everything. I share all the plans, the schematics, the design, the files, the code. It's all online, and every week, we do show and tell. It's a live video, like hangout. Anyone with a webcam can show off what they're building. So we have people who are doing cosplay. We have people who are sewing. We have people who are mixing like clay and metal and glass with electronics to build sculptures. When somebody who glass blows shows, hey, I embedded the electronics in the glass sculpture so it lights up, I'm inspired. I'm like, that's a good idea. What kind of technology would help you achieve your goal? And then we publish that online for free. And that can inspire the next engineer in waiting.
W0TX repeater.
The traditional image of engineer is being changed. Right now, the people who are building electronics in my community, they're not what people would traditionally look at as an engineer. And that's good. That means that we're getting more brains, more experience, more people that have new, exciting problems to solve. The most heartfelt moment I've had running Adafruit is we got an email from a parent, And he'd been watching the show and tell with his young daughter. The daughter turned to him and said, "Wow, this is so cool. Can boys be engineers too?" And it was really inspiring because it's like, one down, you know?
All right, truly inspiring stuff there. Really cool stuff. That was from 2018. Adafruit.com, though. Definitely check it out. Definitely huge presence still on YouTube and even more now. And a lot of cool stuff. So really cool stuff there. Let's get the intro started here, and we'll get going here. This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
Good evening and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net, a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined expertise and expertise. This is K1DVC, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron and I am Net Control. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative offset. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? You can contact us via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com, Elmer at W0TX.org. We also post info at groups.io/G/ham learning net, as well as stream and archive our nets on youtube.com/K1DBC. You can also search for our club's call sign W0TX. This is K1DBC Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0, Juliet Kilo, AA 0, JK. Good evening. We've got traffic.
All right, and that time we had AA0JK Fred with traffic. Again, another quarterly reminder, an Elmer, it's just not really even a subject matter expert, but if you have any comfortability in speaking about part of the hobby, you're more than happy to check in and let us know what that is if you'd like. No strings attached, no issues with that. So once more, if you'd like to check in as an Elmer with or without traffic, please check in now. All right, all other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. The suffix is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use IT Phonetics as you check in for your call sign specifically, and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Whiskey 0, Bravo Kilo, Sierra, Bar in Wheat Ridge.
November 0, Echo Yankee Zulu, Jim and South Jeffco, no traffic.
Kilo Sierra 0 Echo, KS0E, Alex in Denver.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor, K6HJV Tom Arvada, no traffic.
W0 Fox Charlie Cherry in Lone Tree, no traffic.
Kilo 0, Lima Alpha India, K0 LEI, Larry in Lakewood.
Kilo Charlie 8 Hotel Charlie Foxtrot, Jonathan, Brighton.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Whiskey Charlie, Brian, Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
W0BKS, I do have traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. I'd like to welcome knowledge to the following check-ins. W0BKS Barb with traffic, N0EYZ Jim, KS0E Alex, K6HJV Tom, W0FFC Jerry, K0LAI Larry, KC8HCF Jonathan, and KF0AWC Brian. Thank you all so much for checking in. All right, one more call. If you'd like to check in to the Denver Radio Club, we're taking call suffixes A through M, Alpha through Mike. Please check in now with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now.
This is Whiskey Alpha 4, Mike, Bravo Golf, Bob in Aurora, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron in Lakewood, no traffic.
This is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome knowledge to the following check-ins. WA4 MBG Bob and KF0 FPI Ron. Thank you both for checking in. At this point, we'll go ahead and open up the whole alphabet. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, this is a general net about ham radio, STEM topics. We have a lot of people here who can help. So if you have any traffic questions, please check in now. We're taking all call suffixes A through Z. Please check in now with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, November Romeo Echo, Jim in Littleton with traffic. Kilo Golf 5, Papa Delta Foxtrot, Jake in Denver, no traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood, good evening.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield, no traffic.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. Net Control, I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. KE0NRE Jim with traffic, KG5 PDF Jake, N0TRP Jim, and K0YES Ken. Thank you all so much for checking in. So far. Okay. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Once more, if you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net just for the count, or if you have any traffic questions, please call now with your call sign, your name, and let us know for your traffic questions. We're taking all call suffixes A through Z. Please call now.
Kilo Delta Zero Whiskey Papa Quebec. Tom, no traffic.
This is KE0 RLQ checking in.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. That time we had KD0 WPQ Tom and KE0 RLQ Michelle. Thank you both for checking in. Once more at the moment, if you'd like to check in to the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, we're taking all call suffixes A through Z. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. If you want some behind the scenes or to get some better context about what we're speaking about, again, we are streaming video from this evening's net online on youtube.com/K1DBC. My call sign, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie, youtube.com/K1DBC. You don't have to comment. You don't have to sign in, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. No monetization, but just some video aspect. And yeah, I really appreciate people checking in there. So if you're not a ham radio operator, you're also more than welcome to check in online as well. So with that, plenty of people checked in here over the air. Appreciate that. A lot of traffic, so it looks like we're going to have a good evening. With that, we'll throw it over to Fred, A0JK with traffic. The net is yours. Go ahead.
A0JK, good evening, everyone. And let's see, what do we have here? I stumbled onto an article here that kind of relates to the On the Air magazine, the latest one that we discussed here a time or two here back, concerning your handy talkies and getting better performance out of that handheld. I know a lot of folks from time to time will hear that are having issues and probably would like to improve the performance of their handheld. And it's been an old topic, but the foxtail, adding the foxtail to your handy talkie was an article that I happened to stumble onto that I thought that maybe some might be interested in taking a look at. And the name of the article is Building the Tiger Tail Antenna. The Tiger Tail Antenna. And it's a very well put together article here with lots of pictures and instructions and the benefits of putting that essentially a counterpoise onto your handheld. Because at the current time with that, what they call the rubber duck on there, they're using the frame of the radio for the counterpoise, and that's hardly a proficient way of operating it. And the article that sparked this thought was on the Airs, this current edition on page 14 and 15, when they are discussing the anatomy of the rubber duck, the anatomy of your handheld antenna. So I will be posting that on the round table here. I got to get that sent in tonight, and I will post that webpage for you all there to relate to. And also the ARRL sent me a little notation about their in-fed half-wave antenna kit, which is, for those of you that like to build kits and tinker, you can save a considerable amount of getting yourself a nice 10, 15, 20, and 40 meter antenna for less than half of what it costs to buy one that's one. Boy, my buzzer just went off. Considerably less than having to buy one already assembled for you that like to tinker. But that you will find is item 0612 on the ARRL webpage. And if you don't like to tinker, the Chameleon is a great way to go. I know Tom and I have both used Chameleons. But anyhow, I believe that's it for the moment. AA0JK, back to net control.
Have an issue find that article there, Fred. But I got it, I think. This is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning. Good information there, Fred. Yeah, latest edition of the On the Air magazine. I'll have to look into it a little bit. Yeah, the January-February 2022 edition, page 14, 15, in terms of the anatomy of rubber duck and what you had spoken about, the foxtail antenna. Could be some good addition to increased performance for over your standard rubber duck antenna. So yeah, that'd be a good article to look into. And as well as you mentioned, the end-fed half-wave antenna, 10, 15, 20, 40 meters, you know, for the price that is $70 there. That's not a bad price to get on the air up to 250 meters, it looks like, or 250 watts, excuse me. And yeah, who doesn't like building a kit there? It doesn't look like there's too many parts there, really, solder-wise. It looks like it's just a bunch of screw-in things, and maybe there's some soldering involved. But you'll have to coil your own something in there. Yes, so really cool product there. Yeah, 0612, the end-fed half-wave for 10, 15, 20, 40 meters, ARL. So yeah, I'll have to look into that too, because a lot of fun playing around with that stuff.
W0TX repeater.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead with the comment.
Tom, KD0WPQ. I've just been on HF 2 months, but I started with the end-fed half-wave. It fits in the yard. It's like 65 feet long. I've got it strung from, the top of the house to a 33-foot mast in the corner of the yard, and it's been doing a very good job for me. Very easy to put together, very basic soldering. There are videos all over the place on how to put the kit together, and I can recommend it for, $70. Does the work. KD0WPQ, back to net.
All right, KD0WPQ. Appreciate that follow-up on there. A good recommendation for the end-fed half-wave. Good performance, easy to assemble, minimal soldering, and yeah, overall it sounds like it's it performs quite well. So if you want to get into HF, you don't have to buy a G5RV if you don't want to. You can assemble your own sort of kit and antenna and make something work there. So. Really cool stuff there. Thanks there, WPQ, for the recommendation.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Fred, with the comment.
The nice thing about the end-fed antenna is it's very difficult to see a dark wire strung out there, so nobody should be able to complain about you having an antenna. plus the fact that it does not have to be strung out in a straight line. You can kind of work it around as a inverted V or many configurations. You can put that in as long as you don't fold it back on itself, and you can string it around the inside of the apartment if that's all you've got. But just get it strung out as long as it's not folded back over on itself at any point to where it shorts itself out. But an extremely effective antenna, and for those with limited space and other problems there concerning antenna restrictions, is a great antenna. AA0JK.
All right, AA0JK Fred, this is Daron K1WBC Net Control. Yeah, that's good to hear as well. Yeah, you don't need to have the maximum amount of space as long as you're able to lay it out in its length or configuration per the band that you're wanting to operate on. You know, things can make do. And yeah, looking at a video of assembly as well as Nano VNA software, another great chance to use some additional hardware, some antenna tuners, or SWR meters, things like that. So yeah, another great opportunity. Antenna building, we've always spoken about quite a bit. You know, and kit building. You know, I was watching a video just before the net about Adafruit.com and Lemur Ada, and the success that Adafruit has had via kit building. And ARL has luckily figured that kind of out over the last probably decade as well, in that terms of, you know, you can sell things in kit product forms and still make a profit, and a consumer can still get what they're looking for. So luckily we have very similar abilities within from the ARL. So really cool stuff there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I wondered, does anybody have any other comments or questions in regards to what was brought up so far on this evening's net? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll go ahead and throw it over to Barb, W0BKS. The net is yours. Go ahead.
W0BKS. Mine is a question. I was surfing net around earlier in the week, or I guess it was the weekend, and I heard tuned in another learning net, and it sounded a lot like you. Do you have other learning nets?
No, not that I'm aware of, unless I have another personality. I do not run any other ham radio nets locally. Somebody might be rebroadcasting. If they are, I am unaware of that. But yeah, we'd have to know maybe the frequency and or time, and maybe we could track that down and figure what that is. I know there's a digital learning net that actually happens right now. But not by me, though. But apart from that, I don't know. So if you have any other follow-up or anything else on that, Bob, go ahead.
Well, if it was you, I wanted to compliment your efforts and endurance, but it really did sound like you. So I'll try to check that out and see if somebody's replaying your learning net. Over.
All right, this is K1DBC, Daron, and WZUBKS Barb. Sounds good, not a problem. You know, I'm happy if that's actually the case, but hopefully it's actually somebody else just taking other efforts on their part to do it as well. So yeah, let us know, and I'll try to search out as well. So interesting to hear. Hadn't heard that before. So all right, this is K1DBC Net Control. At this point, I'll actually take a moment to take further check-ins. If you've just tuned in, again, my name is Daron, call sign K1DBC, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. Let me drop here for a moment. Again, this net is about ham radio, STEM topics in general. We have plenty of combined expertise and experience. If you've just tuned in, that's who we are. If you'd like to check in, please do so with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions as you do. If you'd like to check in, please call now. This is K1DBC Net Control. Again, we do broadcast over on YouTube if you want to get any other video context, if I can keep up. YouTube.com/my call sign, which is K1DBC. You can always check in on there if you want. Once more, if you're over on the air, though, if you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. With that, we'll fire it over to Jim, KE0NRE with traffic. The net is yours. Go ahead.
KE0NRE here. Thank you for taking the net tonight, Daron. My question is, I guess, about repeater etiquette. As I listen to repeater traffic around the Denver area, I hear a lot of folks announcing their position or their destination as they're driving in the area. They may be calling for a particular ham, and they use his call sign and theirs to see if they can connect. Or sometimes they'll just say they're listening or monitoring in the background. Occasionally, very rarely, I'll hear someone actually, usually a new ham, saying CQ, trying to announce that they're looking for a connection on the repeaters. And usually within seconds, someone else comes on and reprimands them for using CQ on repeater traffic. And I wondered, where did that convention or that custom come from? Why is it verboten to use CQ on repeaters? So I'll turn it back to net, KE0NRE.
JK?
A0 or KE0NRE. This is K1DBC Net Control. Good question there. Yeah, I don't know specifically on that one why it's frowned upon to call CQ on a repeater. A0 JK Fred, go ahead.
AA0JK, yes, definitely a good question. I would also like to know just how far back it goes to where that protocol was started, or it's just always been as far as the UHF, VHF frequencies is concerned. But yes, with the newcomers, I'm quite sure that that's a bit confusing as to why it is not acceptable on the UHF, VHF repeaters. But that is correct. You do not use CQ. You just say monitoring, your call letters and monitoring, and that should bring up any possibility of their making a contact. So I don't know whether it's you really want to call it a reprimand, but just correct them as to protocol is monitoring, your call letters and monitoring. So it would be interesting to see when that started and why, because basically as far back as I've ever read. CQ has always been the HF protocol for looking for a contact, and when the VHF and UHF got started, why they dropped that and started using monitoring. So if anybody stumbles onto any further reasoning there or articles that may expand on that, we would love to hear it. AA0JK, back to net control.
NRE comment?
All right, AA0JK Fred, thank you for the follow-up there. Yeah, I'm reading a few things here. KE0NRE, though, go ahead.
I was going to add that on the simplex frequencies, UHF, VHF, you often will hear CQ, somebody who's activating a summit, someone who is in a park operating and wants to make contact on simplex. It's very common to call CQ. And I just wondered, what's so special about repeaters that people at some point in the past felt it was unnecessary. I just thought I'd add that to the discussion. Back to net, KE0NRE.
Comment.
All right there. Yeah, AA0JK Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's because simplex and the repeaters are all, for the most part, considered local, just your local area, whereas in HF, or you're calling CQ, you are calling out into distant areas, DX, and it's more of an international call for making a contact. I wonder if that might shed a little bit of light on it there. AA0JK.
All right, AA0JK Fred, this is K1 DBC Net Control. From the minimal amount of research I've just done here, it looks like it's just the practice that's been gone into. There was, I'm not sure if it's the truth of it, but they're mentioning maybe just odd relationships between different ham radio operators and different bands in the early 60s and 70s and things like that. So I think it might just be rooted from things that are just not even necessary or needed. It's definitely not, there's no, it's not illegal, quote unquote, to call CQ on VHF, UHF bands. It's just not common practice, if you will. I don't even think it's really frowned upon. I mean, as NRE mentioned, as everyone's mentioned, we always love to hear more people on the air, and, you know, who knows why that's not. I mean, at this point, none of us really at this point know why that's not a thing that's quote unquote acceptable, but it's not even unacceptable really. So nobody's going to frown upon that. If you do that, nobody's going to care. They're going to answer your question or help you however they can anyway. So yeah, it looks like it may just be, yeah, I don't know the specifics about it, but it looks like it's maybe just not common practice, but certainly probably at this point in time, ham radio operators are happy to hear more voices on the air in general. So, you know, there's worse mistakes that a new person could make, or anybody could make, really. So get out on the air and just have your voice out there, and nobody really is going to make a fuss about that, I don't think. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Great conversation there. Great question there, NRE, and follow-up there, Fred, A0K. I'll throw it out to the net. Anybody else have anything on that? Calling CQ over VHF, UHF. Please call now.
LAI.
K0, LAI, go ahead.
This is K0LAI. So I have a 2009 version of the ARRL operating manual. I just went to look at
about repeaters and things. And it says in here that, people were normally just listening anyway to their local repeaters, and everybody considered them to be like party lines. Some of us who lived in the country know what a party line is. And it said that, what we always say is you can say your call sign, you're listening or monitoring. But it says you could call CQ, but someone may correct you for that. But it says it here in this last sentence. It says, so if you want to start a trend or become notorious, say CQ, this is, and then the call sign. But it says there's already an audience there, and there really wasn't need. Where CQ, you're trying to find somebody out there, and you don't know what frequency they're on. You're just sitting there. Somebody may be scanning around and find you. But you already have an audience and repeater. Everybody knows the frequency, and they're all listening anyway. So back to net, this K0 LAI.
Wow, that's really cool information there, Larry K0 LAI. I'll have to look that up there. Yeah, party line. Yeah, it's something I'm just barely aware of, only due to phone freaking in my early days and just in searching into that in my early childhood. But yeah, learning in terms of communications and things like that. And yeah, it's always open, if you will. So when you pick up the phone, there's just always somebody listening. It's not a technology I have ever used in my lifetime, but I'm sure maybe somebody on the air here may have. But yeah, it may come from that where there's already somebody listening, really. I think we already kind of know that there are already people still listening nowadays. But yeah, it's just interesting to see a blend of reaching out between the two bands. Some of this stuff just gets dissolved together because it's just reaching out over the air. So very cool. K0 LAI.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Really cool conversation here. I'll throw it out to the net. I don't see anybody else any other comments or questions, but does anybody else have any comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net about what we've spoken about so far or anything else? Please call now.
KD0WPQ.
Yeah, KD0WPQ. Tom, go ahead.
Quick question, was last Wednesday's meeting recorded? Can I replay that anywhere?
Good question there. Yeah, it was KD0WPQ over on my youtube.com/K1DBC. My call sign, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. Presented by Carl, K9LA, 29 simple antennas for HF. So yeah, you can go ahead and replay that back there.
Great, thank you. KD0WPQ, back to net.
Email at AWL.net. Extension on made it kind of wiggly, and I was worried thinking, oh.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, I've been recording presentations for about a year or so now. So if you've missed any presentations or meetings, don't hesitate to check those out as well. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, I probably can bring up some things, but if anybody else has your comments, questions, check-ins, traffic, anything else for this evening's net, please call now.
This is KE0RLQ with a question.
Yeah, KE0RLQ, go ahead.
So I have a new radio, and I am having a hard time picking you up for some reason. I'm able to talk to you just fine on it, but I'm not actually receiving anything other than static.
All right. So you'll be receiving on 145.490 and transmitting on 144.890. So it sounds like you maybe have the offset set up correctly for the transmit, but so when you're listening right now, or however you're listening, is your radio on 145.490 currently?
The radio is on 145.140. The radio is on the correct frequency. I'm able to hear you over YouTube just fine, but for some reason I'm not getting you on the radio.
All right. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Gotcha. I see how you're listening here now. Yeah, it's been a while since I've set up my radio, but yeah, you just need to make sure you have. I don't know if the offset, the negative 600 kilohertz, is actually also for receive. I don't think it is, because I mean I also listen on 145.490 and transmit on 144.890. Yeah, as long as it's set up for just FM, it should be coming in. Yeah, you're sounding great just coming in, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. What type of radio is it?
It's an ST.E.M 991A. That's about 2 days old, so I'm still definitely figuring out how to use it.
All right, yeah, great looking radio there. Yeah, there's probably just some idiosyncrasies to that. I wonder if anybody on the net has an Yaesu FT991A that might be able to help out RLQ here, or has any guidance of getting the repeater set up. Let us know, because yeah, I would imagine it should just be the right frequency, offset, and transmit tone is all that is needed there.
Comment NRE. A couple of things come to mind that might cause a problem like that. One is that if the squelch is set too high and the signal is even slightly less than very strong, it'll stop the reception from coming in, and it'll seem like you can't hear anything at all. And the second possibility might be that I think it's called DCS tones that allow you to mute a channel unless someone broadcasts a particular combination of tones to your HT or your base station. And if that is turned on, then again, you won't hear anything that's being transmitted over the repeater. I'm back to net, KE0NRE.
Comment.
All right, good information there, NRE, about DCS. I'm trying to find that here. A0JK Fred with comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw in a note there that for all the folks that are new and are dealing with handheld radios, that when you program those, I highly recommend that you get the RT Systems software along with the appropriate cable to hook to the computer, your radio to your computer, and let that software do your programming. Trying to plug that all in longhand, so to speak, by pushing the buttons really causes a lot of headaches. So for all of the newer folks into ham radio and using these handhelds, consider getting the software appropriate to your radio from RT Systems. Sure makes life a lot easier. AA0JK.
All right, AA0JK Fred, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, good information there. Yeah, the RT Systems or Chirp or other software definitely make things a lot easier than trying to program it from the radio itself. Yeah, I don't know. RLK, I know you've been on the net here before, and I imagine hopefully your other radios you've been able to hear us through those. So as long as the settings are the same, it should be working there. So yeah, there may just be a little option here or there specific to that 991A that might be doing something odd. You might need to, as maybe NRE mentioned, you may need to specifically turn off DCS, potentially. I don't know. I mean, I would imagine it looks like you could just choose the CTS SS tone squelch is what you're wanting for transmit, and for receiving it should just be on the 145.490. So yeah, I'm not sure at the moment. So I'll throw it out once more to the net. Anyone else have any other information, maybe on the FT991A operation on 2 meter or 70 centimeter repeater usage, and being able to transmit your voice is being heard just fine, but not hearing the people transmitting to you. Go ahead.
W0TX repeater.
All right, and RLQ, I don't know if you have any other questions. I guess one other thing you could try is checking like the NOAA frequencies on 162.40 or something like that. You might be able to hear them, and that shouldn't need any adjustments of anything. You should just be able to tune right to that frequency and hear them. And or if you can hear other things, that would be kind of odd as well too. So if you have any other follow-up on that, RLQ, go ahead.
I have not had any problems with hearing my hotspot set up, and that is on 70 centimeters. And I believe yesterday I was able to hear 145.310.
Yeah, that is odd. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you've been able to hear us in the past from different equipment and maybe like a handheld, but you can't hear through this, that'd be kind of odd as well. So I would think with better equipment, you'd be able to hear something better there. So yeah, if you can hear other stations, it might just be, I don't know. It's odd that you're getting through just fine, but not hearing us. So I'm not too sure on that. So yeah, we'll have to investigate that further. Maybe do some further testing, and yeah, don't hesitate to let us know what you find as well. This is K1 DBC Net Control, RLQ. Thanks for question there. Yeah, too bad we couldn't help you out there. I don't know. So again, if anybody has any information on FT991A operations, let us know for the net coming up next week, and we can try to follow up with that.
Question?
Yeah, A0JK Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm hearing him just fine. He seems to be doing just fine getting into the repeater. Now, I heard him make mention about a lot of static causing difficulty in hearing. It sounds to me like his radio is programmed just fine, and I'm wondering if he is getting static from a wall wart or a light, fluorescent light, or interference from an appliance within the area there where he is operating. So I thought I might throw that question out there. AA0JK.
All right, AA0JK Fred, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, RLQ, I don't know if you want to follow up on that. I don't know if everyone realizes on the net but RLQ is basically listening through the YouTube and transmitting over the radio. So it's a little bit of a funny thing to do. But if you have any other follow-up, RLQ or anyone else on that, go ahead.
At this point, it's basically just low-level static. It's not that, the static is overwhelming the voice. There just really isn't anything other than white noise. I'm sure there's just a setting somewhere that's just completely off, and I'll just need to play with it some more.
All right, sounds good there, RLQ. Yeah, these newer software-defined type radios, newer technology, they introduce a lot of new things, and sometimes there's some odd little thing that you maybe have to do. I don't know. Yeah, it's odd that it's working for other repeaters, but not this one. So yeah, I'll try to dig through if you can go through the manual, whatever you can do, and figure out what you can, and we'll follow up next week, and we'll go from there. So yeah, good question. Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, it's a very nice looking radio, and hopefully you can make use of that more going forward here with our repeater. So. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Does anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else for this evening's net so far? Please call now.
Comment NRE.
Yeah, KE0 NRE. Jim, go ahead.
A couple of weeks ago, I asked a question on the net. I wanted to do some long-term SWR and resonant measurements on my backyard antenna. And I wondered if it was going to be necessary to broadcast or transmit some sort of an ID if I'm doing that for extended periods of time. And I think it was Fred, A0JK, who suggested I reach out to the ARRL and tap their expertise on the subject. So I did, and they got back to me fairly quickly, and I got two different opinions, one technical and one I'll call legal. The technical response was you might want to ask the FCC for an experimental permit to do something like that because they felt that was in the line of experimentation, and the FCC specifically allows hams to do experimentation. You just need to let them know what you want to do and get their permission. And the second piece of advice I got, more from a legal perspective, was, well, everybody tunes up their transmitter, and everybody does it in a different way at a different time for a different length of transmission, so don't worry about it. So I just thought I'd share those differing opinions with everybody else who may or may not be interested in the subject. Back to net, KE0NRE.
All right, KE0NRE. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, that's an interesting follow-up there. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. The first part, yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're transmitting legally and things like that, whatnot. I know within the ISM band, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of LoRa. There's a lot of transmissions going on that are in different bands, but either way. Interesting part on that second part, though, is, yeah, I mean, we didn't really, I guess, mention that, but yeah, everyone has an antenna tuner, and everyone transmits, and everyone operates it slightly differently, and, you know, for the most part, probably no one is making any IDs for those power-ups of those antenna tuners. So it wouldn't look like anything different than just doing it by yourself as needed, you know, if you were just changing bands anyway. So great follow-up there, NRE. Glad you could share that with us. I appreciate that.
Comment.
Yeah, A0JK Fred with a comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd also like to add my thanks there to Jim for the follow-up on that, because that was a good question there. And to be able to make contact and give us some feedback is definitely appreciated there, Jim. Thank you very much. AA0JK.
All right, thanks there, Fred. AA0JK. Yeah, it's always great to have follow-up here. We've been running this net for years and years and years and years. So if you've ever spoken previously and you ever want to follow up on anything that you've ever brought up, don't ever hesitate to do so. And we're more than happy to actually hear about that and hear and learn from your lessons and not try to have to reinvent the wheel as much as we sometimes have to do. So we'd love to learn. So yeah, thank you there, Jim, KE0NRE, for your follow-up on that. So this is K1DBC Net Control. We don't have a hard stop for the net, but we normally end in about 5 to 10 minutes or so. I can bring up a couple things if needed, but I'll throw it out to the net. Does anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else for this evening's net so far? Please call now.
W0TX Repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Once more, I can bring up a couple things, but if anybody else has any comments, questions, check-ins so far for this evening's net, please call now. I think that's APRS, right? That sounds like APRS. This is K1DBC Net Control. We're hearing some intermittent, I think it's an APRS signal. Not a huge deal, but if you do have a radio that's capable of doing APRS, try to make sure it's not transmitting on the current frequency, but the correct one, I think, is 144.2 or whatever the correct APRS frequency is. So, yeah, glad to hear more equipment out there. Awesome. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Let's see, just a few minutes left here in the net. Let's see. Ham Radio Outlet has a great YouTube presence. More and more videos they're posting on there. Another video I played just before the net was Youth on the Air by N0SSC, s.t.e.m, giving a pretty good explanation here.
VPG, he's the camp director.
A couple of years now for youths up to the age of 26 and an annual event now. So youthontheair.org and Sterling Man N0SSC for more information on that.
Are applying right now. The applications are open at UTEMP for young people in ham radio. Our ages go from 15 to about 26 or 27 or something like that, 26. And it's currently happening this year once again in Cincinnati at the Voice of America Museum.
So this is K1DBC Net Control. That was one of the videos here recently. They have plenty of other information. They were basically from at Hamcation 2022 booth presence there. Some more videos there. Eris had a quick video here, amateur radio on the International Space Station, presentation, or a quick video here by WB2JKJ, another youth kind of leader in the ham radio space, the 22 crew at junior high school 22 in New York City, Joe Fairclough. So a really cool video there. A lot of cool videos here. So Ham Radio Outlet over on YouTube. Pretty cool stuff here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. What else here? Great information always over on rtl-sdr.com. If you ever have any interest in software-defined radio and all the aspects of that, there's a lot of a lot of people working on a lot of different stuff. DAB Plus is a European standard for a radio, I believe. So there's another a decoder here released by somebody. Somebody's using the Kraken SDR software with gosh, this is just so crazy here. Let's see what they even do here. I don't even know the implications of this one, so I can't even really... Always cool stuff. Let's see, a new Android app for ADS-B monitoring, which is the signals put out by most aircraft nowadays are mandated to have ADS-B transmit to have much more presence in the sky. So you've been able to decode it over the computer and probably over the phone quite a lot, but here's just another Android app as well. Let's see, let me drop here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Don't have much else at the moment. Let's see, QSO Today, hamexpo.com coming up March 12th and 13th. Another build-a-thon. You can buy the kits from QSO Today, hamexpo.com if you want to do a build-along or a build before and then have questions answered after the fact. Couple options here. Looks like a beginner is the a WBB transmitter, which I am not even sure what that is. Probably just some sort of QRP thing. And then a tuna can switch inductor tuner. A little bit more difficult build here. So a couple options if you want to take part in that. Again, QSO Today, hamexpo.com. There'll be a bunch of presentations as normal. I mean, it seems like hundreds, or at least 100 or so of them every time, and they seem to hold this twice a year. It seems like. Keynote is the importance of amateur radio and technical hobbies to advance the world's technologies and mankind's biggest projects. Very interesting title there. Presented by Courtney Duncan, November 5, Bravo Foxtrot. Missions to the deep space, the moon and Mars, supported by engineers and technicians at JPL and NASA, many of whom are amateur radio operators, demonstrate that serious avocational pursuits such as amateur radio are often crucial to goals ranging from project success to the creation of new fields of research. Courtney will support this thesis from his hands-on experience at JPL, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, over a 35-year career. So really cool keynote presentation there, and a ton of others. So it's, I think, $10 to attend. They do provide them after the fact. So really cool stuff there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I might be able to bring one or two more things up, but if anybody else has any other things for the net, there'll be a final call here in a few minutes, but at this moment in time, does anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for this net so far? Please call now.
WPQ.
KD0 WPQ, Tom, go ahead.
Just a quick thing. In your notes, I see you have the NFED half wave at 23 feet. I might have misspoke. It's actually 66 feet.
All right there, Tom KD0WPQ. Appreciate the correction there. 66 feet. I may have misheard too. So yeah, that probably makes a little bit more sense there in that type of configuration. So yeah, thanks for the correction there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Always a pleasure to host this net. Really appreciate everyone checking things out online. Again, youtube.com/K1DBC. Really appreciate that. Hopefully one day we'll be able to put it over to our official club's YouTube page. So I don't have much more. Again, let's see. Field day is coming up. I always hate to bring this up. I always bring this up at the end of the meeting, and I hate to do that. I keep forgetting to bring it up earlier. But June 25th, 26th, we'll have more information out from our club coming here soon. We'd love to have more help on that if you can, in any volunteer capacity. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'll put a final call. Any other final check-ins, comments, questions, anything else for this evening's net, please call now. All right, this is Daron K1DBC Net Control. Still here in that APRS. Not a huge deal. But let's see. With that, yeah, appreciate everyone being here this evening. We had a total of 18 check-ins. Really appreciate that. More information on our club, W0TX.org. Love to hear comments and questions from there. I do get some comments and questions. I do get some comments on my YouTube, just thanking the presenters, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm happy to be able to continue to provide those. What else? Yeah, Elmer at W0TX.org, DRC Learning Net at gmail.com. Really appreciate everyone checking that out. Our next club meeting is going to be Wednesday, third Wednesday of next month. Presentation still to be announced, March 16th. Check out our club's website, W0TX.org, for more information on that. Yeah, definitely really appreciate everyone checking in here. Again, everyone is welcome to that net that takes place on that third Wednesday of the month. But for now, we'll probably close the meeting up, or the net here for this evening. Our next Learning Net is going to be 7:30 p.m. Next Wednesday. And really appreciate everyone being here. So definitely keep your comments, questions, check-ins coming in from wherever you're at in the world. We love to hear whatever you got going on there, and we'd love to hear and see more photos. If you want to take photos of your stations, your equipment, don't hesitate to send that to us as well. So this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. I guess I'll go ahead and close things up here.
This is WD0CIV. Do you copy me at all?
Yeah, WD0CIV. I got you in there. Go ahead.
Okay, I must have had something set wrong on the radio. Anyway, we were talking about whether or not you're supposed to ID when you're doing a SWR transmit, test the antenna, etc., etc. Most auto tuners will tune within 30 seconds or so, so you don't need to do any ID. If you're actually doing 2 or 3 minutes long and then not transmitting, and then another 2 or 3 minutes, it might be a good idea to go ahead and ID, just to be on the legal side and not get involved with a bunch of paperwork with the FCC. But anyway, that's just my opinion, and thanks for the net. We'll let you go.
All right, sounds good there. Yeah, you got in just the nick of time, Charles, WD0CIV. Yeah, that kind of makes sense as well. Yeah, I'd have to look up the minimal amount of time required for ID required, but yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for the follow-up on that. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here this evening. Appreciate that. I'll go ahead and start to, I'll close out the net here. Appreciate everyone being in attendance. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, appreciate everyone being on here, 7 through to all. I'll go ahead and put the repeater back into normal mode, and I will be clear.
PL on.
All right, this is K1DBC, again, 7-3, and I am clear. All right, again, everyone, thanks for being on here. I guess just a quick video to take us out here. Just a really cool little cool project here, and yeah, appreciate that. So again, 7 through to all here on YouTube, and yeah, you'll have a good evening.
Hey, what's up, folks? In this video, we're taking a look at Whippersnapper with the new Adafruit Cutie Pie. Whippersnapper now has support for Adafruit's newest Wi-Fi board, making it one of the easiest ways to do IoT projects. The Adafruit Cutie Pie now comes in a new flavor featuring the ESP32 S2. It can also run both Arduino and CircuitPython. Here's how to set up the Cutie Pie ESP32 S2 with Whippersnapper in Adafruit IO. Go to the Quick Start Guide and scroll down to the installation page. In the Download section, click on the Download button to launch the release page on GitHub. Scroll down and look for the UF2 file for the Cutie Pie ESP32 S2. Double press the Reset button to get the board into bootloader mode. The NeoPixel will turn green when it's ready. Then just drag and drop the UF2 file onto the USB drive to automatically flash the firmware. Using your favorite text editor, you want to edit the secrets JSON file with your Adafruit IO and Wi-Fi credentials. Then hit the Reset button once again to get the board connected to your Wi-Fi router. In Whippersnapper, the device is automatically detected and you'll have the option to rename the device. You can easily connect this temperature and humidity sensor using s.t.e.m QT. In Whippersnapper, click New Component and select the AHT20 sensor. Then select how often you want to send and receive data, and that's it! You can see the raw values in the device page and start logging data in a dashboard. We think it's the quickest and easiest way to get your IoT projects up and running. We designed and 3D printed a snap-fit case to house the Cutie Pie and a s.t.e.m QT breakout board. The bottom cover has a built-in holder for the Cutie Pie that can be secured without any screws. Just insert the board at an angle and slightly bend to snap-fit the PCB into the corners. It's easy to plug in a s.t.e.m QT cable on the back of the Cutie Pie and connect the sensor without having to solder. You can use M25 hardware to secure the s.t.e.m QT board to the case. The top cover has several vents that can be used as mounting holes so you can secure the board in different orientations. The bottom cover features similar slots so you can mount it to either the top or bottom. There's also mounting tabs on the case so you can use them to attach it to another surface. Just snap fit the case over the cover with the opening lined up with the USB-C port. It's really modular so you can easily customize it to fit your project. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more projects from Adafruit.
NBC Television.